Nordstrom's Auto Recycling started off as Nordstrom's used and rebuilt trucks. Even before that, it was started by Art and Marie Nordstrom. They're the founders of the company, and they were the ones that took that risk on a wrecked Ford pickup to fix it, because they didn't have any other means to acquire a pickup that they needed for the farm, the same original farm that the business has grown on. The family had changed because my grandpa, Walt, who would have been Art's dad that I never knew, he passed away at 53 years old when Art and Marie were just a young married couple. And they suddenly found themselves in the middle of managing and running a farm that was not right at their planning. And so, being young, crazy kids, they worked hard and they were trying to put their young family together. And thinking about all the things in the world that, like credit and all those different things, was all new to them. But one of the things that Art did know was he knew automotive. He had been to some technical school. He was always a hot rodder and a little bit of a heck raiser in high school. And so he knew that things automotive were first nature to him. And his new wife, Marie, was by his side, and they decided that he could go to Arndt's Wreck King, and he bought a Ford pickup from Marv Underberg. Marv Underberg still works up today at our U-Pull in our sales division at Nordstrom's, and he bought this pickup and decided, you know what, I can fix this up and use it on the farm. But it wasn't long after that he realized that, you know what, maybe we could sell this and make some money. And I think the money that was made on that first pickup was probably less than $100 after using it for a while. But that was really the spark for them to decide that they could probably buy some more of these wrecked pickups and grain trucks and fix them and or sell them as they were to other people in the neighborhood that were farmers, and help them save money like they did to get into a good vehicle. And that was really what started the company.
I mean, for us, when we look at people with a mechanical mindset, job opportunities, sales, inventory. The front clips that you see, like I talk about, sometimes that's the best way for us to dismantle it, is to leave that whole front end assembly. Because the customer may not buy all those pieces, but it's the safest way to hold them all together. Under one arrangement that we have with General Motors, which we can't really advertise it, but we talk about it, is that all the cars we get from them that are unibody cars with no frame underneath them, we have to cut them in half so we can guarantee that they'll never go back on the road again. And so you see a lot of them that have been cut in half.
This is the family farm. The cows were here, the crops were here, and it was only second nature that the cars kind of got hidden out here. And as the business grew, they had to incorporate the car business into the cow business. And as it is today, the cars ended up pushing the cows out. And so now we have, we grow cars now and harvest the parts instead of raising cows and harvesting the milk. We also had a cash dairy farm here as far as cash crops. We raise the crops also for raising the animals. And so for us, the work of the farm was always hard work. So it became no different for us to put that hard work and that same types of talents into working with the car stuff that we were doing.
In the sales office, we got people that are doing instant messaging, emailing, all these different things that they're doing. About 2,000 phone calls a day, countless instant messages, and they're talking to people from all over the place. We've got a main retail counter for people to walk in. When they're not busy, they jump on with the phone load for the shops. And we got other people that are in the back, our other agents that are working with the shops that are in the back. That's also where the eBay department is, that works with eBay and other online tools, is in the back. When you walk in, we're just going to walk through and make a train and go through here. But you can see the pictures up on the walls probably when you came in of the progression of the property. We sit on 65 acres of land between the two sides of the road. And we've got about 80,000 square feet of inside storage for parts. The number of SKUs in our database is about 500,000 for parts that are available by the fingertips. We also sell, and you'll see through we go through the warehouse, not only the used parts, but also the new alternative parts that we have, that we sell too.
As the business is growing, technology has served a very important part of what we do. We have good partners, Alliance Communications. I think it used to be called Split Rock Telecommunications in the day, but they're from Garrettson, and they've been a good partner of ours. We have Eros Data Center just up the road, and with the things they do up there, they need technology, they need bandwidth, they have satellites in the air. I don't think it puts us in a great position if there was ever a war. We could be a target, but they've got a lot of things going on up there. But Alliance helps provide those needs to them. So along with that, it gave us an opportunity as our business was growing to take in that available technology. And so we had high bandwidth of communications here long before a lot of people did. It gave us the opportunity to get involved in parts exchange systems that were starting on the East Coast and in the South. It gave us the ability to put phone systems in that could handle more traffic and do all these different things as we embraced the technology of T1 lines, of forming the copper into high speed, and then going into the fiber optic world that they brought to us. It really opened our doors for our little island out here in the country to be opened up to the world, literally, because of the technology. We've also had great employees and great staff that we want all of them to work together to come up with the best ideas to run the company. We have a lot of great ideas as owners, but they've got a lot of great ideas too. So we want those employees to be able to give us ideas and together work to come up with the best solutions. And a lot of those have been technology, as we've found better ways to inventory parts, better ways to store and categorize them using the barcodes and current technology. Right now we're working on a wireless network through the whole place that will give us the ability to real-time locate our vehicles out in the yard, real-time locates the parts on the shelf. And that all is just harnessing that technology that is there, taking the photos and automatically importing them into the systems so they can be used with all of our web devices and our point of sale devices, eBay, different places. The technology has been just smack dab in the middle of all of that as we've grown the business.
This was originally a 2-stall garage that my dad worked in. The break room right behind you, that was an old cinder block garage that first pickup got rebuilt in, was back in there. Now it's a break room. The sales office, it was a little addition. We had a contractor that started and then he stuck us for our down payment and never finished back in the day. And the guy that was helping him ended up staying here for 14 years as a contractor building things after that as the business grew. And so we just kind of we've done the best we can with what we had to grow the business. I'm just going to stop right here because, like I said, we got such a big group. We got to find some talking points here. Once we're going to leave out the west side of this building, but I'm going to open up the closet in the back room. We've been very fortunate as the business has grown to have Alliance Communications as a partner. You guys will find, you know how important it is to have good internet. We were able to have a website in 1998 because of Alliance Communications having T1 lines and different things to us. We have fiber here already now. We got fiber backbone through the business, and it's been very, very good for us. But I'm just going to let you all take a peek into our technology closet, and then you just walk in, walk out, and then we'll meet up on the other side outside, because it's interesting to some people. Some people don't care. If you don't want to look, don't look. But it's in the back room back here, so just file in, and then when you're done, come back out, and we'll meet on the other side. I'll go open up the door.
Nordstrom's is a certified auto recycler. And as a certified auto recycler, we take it as a very important part of our mission to do things the right way. Do things the right way environmentally, do things the right way for our employees and for safety, do things the right way for our customers from a business standpoint. And being a certified auto recycler and being involved in the National Trade Association, we know that it's not only the good thing to do. From our years on the farm and taking care of the land, we know it's the right thing to do. And because it's the right thing to do, we're able to understand why it's important to capture all the oil, why it's important to capture the refrigerant, why it's important to capture the antifreeze and the other coolants that are in there, why it's important to capture the gasoline, why it's important to get that convenient light switch out of there that has the small amount of mercury in it that could cause harm to an entire lake or whatever it might happen to be. Those are all things that we take very seriously at Nordstrom's. It's a big part of what we do. It's a big part of doing it right. It's not always the cheapest way to do it right. It's not always the quickest way to do it right. But doing it right is what we should do, and that's the responsibility we take on as a certified auto recycler and a professional automotive recycler at Nordstrom. So we feel like we provide an integral part for the community to be involved in that ecosystem of the cars as they age, as they get wrecked. We want to be the solution. We want to be the right person for people to work with when they're working with their automotive things, to have good options. And if that gives us success as a company, we want to make sure and give back to the same people that are helping us. So we find it important to find areas where we can contribute. We're a Christian-based company, faith-based. You'll see PTLA on all of our advertising. which stands for Praise the Lord Always. It's based on the Bible verse 1 Thessalonians 5:18. You'll find it etched in the concrete. You'll find it on our pens. You'll see it on our billboards. It gives us our moral compass of what we want to do. We want to use good moral principles as we guide the business, and we guide our employees and our customers that we meet. And we know what we want to reach for levels of quality and the expectation. We don't hit them all the time. We're not perfect, but we definitely know where the target's at on the wall, and we try to hit it every time we can. We try to teach our staff to show empathy and be friendly and be kind to people, because that's what should be done. No, things aren't always roses, but we try our best to make the best out of every situation we can. Even when it goes off the rails a little bit, it's important to us to try to do it the right way.
Started, like I said, with the wreck pickup getting fixed, and what it evolved to was buying and selling of the wrecked vehicles. We first fixed them for people, and then found we couldn't fix them fast enough. We had more people, there was more demand, and so we started selling the vehicles wrecked and helping put the parts together with it, and finding places where people could get the professional work that needed to be done, whether it be framework and those sort of things, so it would be done correctly. And then as a do-it-yourselfer, they could do the dismantling, the removal, the reassembly, and those sort of things for another option for people to get a vehicle at a more affordable cost. And so we've been doing that for many, many years. In our heyday, we would sell 30 to 50 vehicles a week, but that whole landscape has changed because of the internet. A lot of the insurance companies have brought their cars to big auctions, and so now the world is open up to the cars that used to be just in Sioux Falls and surrounding area. Now the world's looking at those cars. It's just like anything else. But that same internet that made us change the way we acquired our cars is the same one that we're selling our parts on. So you got to look at both sides of an issue before you get too excited or too mad about something. We sell anything from we get some of the ATVs and snowmobiles. Like I said, we got damaged vehicles that are brand new. Here's a 2014 Silverado with 900 miles on it that somebody wrecked. We've got a 2012 Silverado with 14,000 miles on it. Like I said, to an older car that's got 100,000 miles on it, but just minor damage on it.
Well, one of the things that my dad taught me, and if Art was in here getting interviewed, he'd tell you the same thing. He's around here somewhere, but Art and Marie Nordstrom, my parents, have taught me from a young age that it's important to get the youth involved. And so we offer up tours. We try to make them as efficient as possible because they do take a little bit of time, but we bring out the different technical institutes, whether it be the automotive mechanical program or whether we bring out the auto body programs, and we get them out here to show what we do, to show what goes on behind the scenes at Nordstrom's Auto Recycling. Because when you drive over the hill and you come here, you see 65 acres of cars, but there's so much more than that. There's so much going on behind the scenes as the parts get moved around, as the parts get inventoried, as the parts get tagged, as they get quality tested, as they get moved between the different distribution centers, as they go on to the delivery trucks. It's good for them to see the background of what's happening here and the amount of effort that's being put in to try to provide the product that we do. It's not just as simple as one part and one wrench and one guy. It's lots of people that make Nordstrom's make Nordstrom's click. And we like to show people behind the scenes so that they have a better appreciation not only for what we have to offer them, but how it all comes together.
I'll get everybody in here. We got this is our self-service business called You Pull It. And I think a lot of you had said you'd been here already before at You Pull It. Ricardo is our supervisor at You Pull It. He does a bunch of work up here with everybody. And this is just a whole different business model than what we do at the main yard. When people come in here, they're going to know right off the top of their head what it's going to cost them. Ricardo's got a price book there. You guys can each take one. And that price book, you know what the part's going to cost before you ever get out there to take it off. So if you come to the other side and you put a alternator on the counter, we know what that alternator is going to cost. You don't have to wonder. It's going to have a 33-day warranty. You can bring it back for credit. You can get a different one, whatever you need to do. But that's the different model. But on the other hand of that, we don't tell you what parts are out there. We don't know which parts are out there. We'll tell you which vehicles are out there, but we can't keep track. Now right now today is a cold, wet day. It's not as busy. But typically that parking lot would be half full of cars. There'd be people milling around. I'd have no idea what parts are leaving out here, and we don't ask people to keep track. We just need to know that you brought an alternator. You buy an alternator. All the prices are clearly listed. The customers up here are varied from do-it-yourselfers to hot rodders to projects. We'll get people up here looking for parts that aren't even fixing a car. They're just looking for something that they can get. We also have a treasure chest of things we find in cars. So there's a garage sale going on every day here. And then we have the bargain box outside. And the bargain box is where we take some of our items that are acquired from, let's say we had a broken mount on an aftermarket piece of sheet metal or something like that. Instead of scrapping it, we'll put it in the bargain box and let somebody buy it at you pull it price. And so there's just always different things in that bargain box outside. That's something we just started doing. One thing that's fun for a lot of people is out in the back, the very back rows, there's a section of older vehicles. So sometimes people can go back out there and find that weird chrome piece of trim that they need. Just goofy stuff off cars that are probably from the early 80s to back into the 50s. And we have those vehicles there. Come on in. We'll be out here in just a second. Come on in. We have a lot of people that come out here and they buy parts specifically just to put them on eBay. They'll come out here and they'll look for parts. We have people that come out here that will stay here and they will take off parts for other customers that don't want to take off parts. It's just kind of amazing how this community has formed here of people that come out, and that community is growing every day because there's a lot of people looking for value on the best way to buy parts, and we see this as a very solid option for those that want to. If they don't, we take them back to the other business and we'll take care of them and do everything for them. We have just starting here early this next month, we got to get all the bugs out of it, a loyalty program that you don't have to pay anything for. You'll get your phone number in the system. Eventually we'll have a little key fob for you, and every time you come and buy, you can get you scan your card or your key fob, and it'll keep track of I think it's gonna be like a 2.5% or a 3% credit that you'll get for all your purchases once you reach a minimum of $100 spending. So just a cashback program type, not cash, credit back. It'll go back towards, you can use it for your gate fees or towards other parts. And our computer system allows us to do that. We're gonna be starting that early May. Lots of other neat things we do here. We offer a harvest guarantee. If you go out here, it costs $2 to get in. We put some of that money towards maintaining the facility. And if you get out there and you don't find a part that you're looking for, when you come back out, we'll give you a harvest guarantee, and the next time you come in, it can be a no gate cost at that point. We let our military veterans in for free, military and veterans in for free, as a respect for people that have served our country and those that are serving our country. That's something that we've always done. And when you do come in, the price book or the car book is always right here when you walk in, so you can see what vehicles are out there. If you haven't seen it on the internet already, we always have a couple of them sitting here. You have to sign a waiver, and then you can go out there and do what you want. Now, the one thing we don't want people doing, and we have kicked people out for, is when they start breaking things. And what I mean breaking things is they're out breaking windows just for fun, breaking headlights. And there's people that'll do it. We can't stand it. We will call the authorities and we will kick you out. I don't see any eyeballs in this place that have had that happen, and that's good. But we have to have the community, we find out, polices itself. We have so many other customers that love coming out here so much, they'll come out here and tell us, hey, there's some Yahoo back in row 4 breaking windows, because they don't want to see it. And so it's quite an interesting evolution of what's happened up here as the business. So we opened this up in 2008. It's been here since.
That number will jump up and down a little bit as we have different areas that we're working on, but as a rule, we've been pretty steady around that 75 employee mark. And those are full-time employees with full benefits, paid time off, profit sharing that we work on, people that we're trying to take care of, and we feel a big responsibility for those employees, and we do care about all of them. I always tell them during orientation that employee is not a number. They are a person. They have a life just like I do, and I want to do the best to help them find a good place for them to be, whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time. We want them to consider making automotive recycling a career for them.
But just take a walk through here when we walk by. You see the grain bin here? Take a walk inside and take a look at what we've done with that grain bin inside, and then we'll meet right down here by shipping and receiving. So just a little short sidewalk here. You can walk inside and take a look and see how we utilized our grain bin.
You know what? Nordstrom sells parts through many channels. And we like I said, we have the full service auto recycling here is what we do. And those parts go into professional repair shops, whether that be auto collision centers, automotive mechanical repair facilities, used car facilities, new car franchise dealerships where they have all those things on site. We provide parts to all those places. We also provide parts to the DIY crowd, the do-it-yourselfer, the people that are out there fixing their own cars. They're out there on the internet learning about how to fix their car. They're talking to their friend at coffee, or maybe at the bar or at church or wherever it might happen to be, about how they can fix their car. And people together, we're seeing a community of people learning how to fix things. They're learning how to take on this new technologies in the cars. And we can be a partner to them too, to help provide cars and hopefully good advice, provide parts and hopefully good advice to go along with them. Our parts reach the region of South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota. They reach the nation through different things we do through different sales channels on the internet. We're currently a big seller on eBay Motors. Those are all important channels. We have things that go overseas from time to time. So Nordstrom's brand parts can end up about everywhere. And the big thing we like about it is that they're green. We've got a big push right now to tell people about the fact that this is green recycled parts. We were recycling before recycling was cool. And the best way that you can save a resource is to reuse a resource. We don't have to fire up a hot stove or have emissions going out of a smokestack to reuse a used auto part, because it's already been made. It's been made to the original equipment manufacturer's specification because it came off their car. Some have been slightly road tested, and you know, we do find that a lot of our parts have been real close to an accident, but we get rid of those, the ones that have been in an accident. We save the good parts. And it's important to us to make sure that we take the things through a process so that our good automotive parts can end up in your door. And we've incorporated that with a professional shipping department that has the right tools, the right boxes, the right technology, so that you can get that order tracked, shipped. I should say, so you can get that order shipped. You'll know where it's at with the right tracking, and it can get there in one piece. It arrives in the condition that we knew it was in when we inventoried it in our inventory check-in process. We want to get those parts to you.
That can be anywhere from 150 to 250 packages a day that are going out. And as the day goes on, the crescendo wraps up because the orders get processed, things come together. It all gets busier as we get closer to 5 o'clock. These pickups usually happen in the afternoon. The small parts package pickups happen late in the day. We try to get them out here right at 5 o'clock if we can, so we can get all the parts we can out the door every day. The computers that they're using, and they're all wired back to that back room that we saw, they're running our production system, which basically takes every part that gets onto a work order and gives it a digital ID as it goes through the system. So that that order that has a part that needs to go to the yard can get into a production queue to go out in the yard and be worked on. The part that has a digital ID that's supposed to be in the warehouse can be being picked by a warehouse personnel. And there might even be a part of that order that's being brokered from another vendor. And we can tie that all together with the production system. These gentlemen here, Nick and his crew, and Brian, wherever he went, they're dispatchers. They're taking all the orders, using the digital information they have available, and putting it all together to get things out the door. They're also doing kind of the final quality inspection of the parts before they go out the door, making sure that everything matches. The Gold Seal program is the Automotive Recyclers Association we're a member of. They're the they're International Trade Association for the Automotive Recycler. And the Gold Seal program is a multi-step inspection and quality assurance program that we use with it's a multi-step quality assurance program that we use with our customers. As we go through our production system, there's a series of checks and balances. We know who has the job at any given time, how long they've had it, and we're able to just kind of zone in on if we have issues with quality. You know, hey, maybe this person's not the one that's checking it well enough, we need to talk to them. But that's what the Gold Seal program is all about, just making sure handoff to handoff that quality is part of the program. The certified auto recycler part of it in the middle, we've been since 1999, and that's where, as an auto recycler, we make sure that we're doing all the right things environmentally, business relations wise, safety, that we're trying to cover those things on a regular basis to have a good work environment for the staff and for our customers. And that's what the certified auto recycler program is. We're one of less than 400 certified auto recyclers in the United States.
Okay.
I happen to be the chairman for our National Trade Association also.
Okay.
And I took a real interest in it because we used that program as a roadmap to kind of decide what we needed to do in our business as we grew it. We tried to follow that program as a roadmap, so it's been important to us. The computers behind us here, the guys, the production techs, they take that same system, and right now they're working stuff just from the warehouse. They're caught up right now, but once orders hit that queue, they look in there and they get the next up, and then they're able to go get those out of the warehouses that we'll walk through. Then they bring them up and get them ready for distribution. The will call counter is through this door, and that's where, if you've been here before, you get something bought at the main sales counter, you come over here kind of like it'd be at a lumber yard, and they'll procure the item for you going through the system, so that the sales staff can get on with another customer. They can take care of the inventory, make sure everything's done correctly, make sure you're getting the right part that matches your needs before you leave the door. This can get to be a pretty busy place over here too. So.
You know, at Nordstrom's, we use all kinds of vehicles. Our business is unique because we don't specifically go down one channel with the types of vehicles that we look for. Because of the different output angles we have with our self-service, our repairables, and our full-service auto recycling, there's not too many vehicles that we can't use. So whether it's a car that just is end of life that needs to be properly disposed of with a certified auto recycler, it's got the Invitas number that can send all the information to the government like you're supposed to do by federal law and do all the proper environmental things for an end-of-life vehicle, or it's that wrecked vehicle that somebody wasn't planning on getting rid of that has lots of good stuff left on it that may be able to be a good harvest for us and our customers. Or maybe it's a vehicle that was just recently bought brand new and somebody wrecked it and they're like, oh my, I just got my brand new car. I really would just soon have another new one and not one that I have to fix. We buy those too, and then we'll sometimes resell them to other people that don't mind fixing a wrecked car. And so we have output angles and inputs for about any type of car that's out there on the road. And that's important to us because we want to be full service to people, and to do that we've got to be able to cover all the different angles that will come up. And we feel that with the way we take our cars in and categorize them, the different gradings that we do, we find the best use for each vehicle to provide the correct reuse in a green environment. And so it's important to us that we let people know that we can take care of you no matter what it might be, from brand new to old. We might have a solution for you.
There again, we try to use as many of the carts as we can to store things, get them in good, proper, safe locations. The axle assemblies, this rack used to be outside. We built the building over it. What we found we were having happening is that the axle assemblies themselves were under the heat of the summer with the sun baking on them. They were condensing at night and forming water inside. And they were rusting out the ring gear and pinions on the top side. So once we put the building over it, the problem went away. But a lot of takeout motors for street rods. We still do a lot of that. We used to have a business called Nordstrom's Factory Performance. We ran full time, but we've kind of throttled that back because the inventory changed so much. But we do still sell a lot of Hemis. That 14 Tahoe cop car, that's going to have a 5.3 two-wheel drive setup in it that somebody might want for a street rod. We sell a lot of that stuff yet. And we got connections to help people get the wiring harnesses they need and different places they can go. You guys could probably figure out how to wire them on your own with the right help. So,
you know, Nordstrom's Auto Recycling is also a place where you can get new alternative parts. People don't realize the other options we have available. We try our best to say yes as often as we can. It's something we pride ourselves in, is a deep depth of inventory. We sit on 65 acres. We have we currently, as I do this interview, have 80,000 square feet of inside storage that's all pallet racked, barcoded, tagged, of parts that have been removed from cars, tested. And also, part of that inventory is new alternative parts. When there's a certain part that we know is in high demand, we look for places to buy those parts to offer to people at a value. So not only do we offer a wonderful line of remanufactured engines and transmissions with amazing warranties that are just awesome products, we also offer the collision sheet metal at affordable prices, and we have that available in CAPA certified and non-CAPA that can be kind of a value alternative for some of the older cars. And then we also offer the hard mechanical parts, whether it be exhaust manifolds or electronic modules that fail often, remanufactured temperature controls that fail a lot, speedometer clusters. We try to find as many of those solutions as we can to have on the shelves available for quick sale at Nordstrom's. And if not, we probably know a vendor that we can hook up with to get them for you. So our job is to say yes as often as we can. I always tell my employees, learn to say yes. No is the easy way out. We try to say yes as often as we can. We've even had one commercial we did for the public around Sioux Falls, and it's just our people going around saying yes, yes, because we try our best to say that as often as we can. Our percentage of in stock when people call us about a part, one of our main parts that we inventory, it's well over 60%. That's a very high number, and we're looking to bring that number up higher all the time. And with the help of a great staff and the patronage of great customers, we're going to work hard to make that happen. That unit is like a $3,000 unit new from General Motors, and it's something that we sell for $350. So it's an amazing savings for the customer. And what Greg is doing here, one of the tools that I mentioned that we made, he's got these center caps here that he's putting on inventory. He can literally scan the tag. It shows him which ID he's working with. He takes the picture, and as he snaps it, it's ended up directly in the database. Properly named, properly numbered. And so all the loose parts that come from the cars and dismantling, they get this more closer photo process. So these are all parts that he's working his way through that have came out of dismantling that are working their way to the shelves. This is also a chance where we get to double check the inventory to make sure we're getting the right tag on the right part, because the fact is that there's humans involved in the business, and it's easy to get a tag on the wrong part sometimes. And we try to avoid that at all costs. And we want to make sure that we're getting the inventory kind of what we call purified as the vehicle runs through its life cycle at Nordstrom's. This is one of our inspection zones, but there's all kinds of crazy stuff we see. But I thought that one would throw a few of you for a loop. We've dismantled about 55 of those trucks under contract that they're buying them back because of a problem in the hybrid transmission. And so we're dismantling the vehicles under contract. And so they're not wrecked. We've taken vehicles apart with 12,000 miles and some with 170,000 miles. And they're that 5.3 hybrid system they used from 04 to 06. The next generation was much better. When they got in the new generation, 07 or newer, they did a much better job with them. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to end up with not too many of them left on the road because they're buying most of them back. They've brought back thousands of them. Wow. You know, Nordstrom's, it's important to us at Nordstrom's Auto Recycling that all customers have an opportunity to do business with us. And we work with many different races, nationalities, ethnicities, and we try to work to match their needs. And sometimes there's communication barriers that make that difficult. We provide Spanish-speaking people where we can. We've got different people on staff that we can sometimes match up with if it's a different nationality or different speech. How do you say that? A different dialect or a different language. Whether it's a different language, we try our best to make everybody feel welcome at Nordstrom's. Something that the people here have taught me is that with other nationalities that come into our business, they're just as uncomfortable to come in as sometimes we are to try to help them. So we try to bridge that gap at Nordstrom's to make people feel comfortable coming into the business. And it's important to us that people do. Each guy will process between 4 and 7 cars each week. And these are cars in this shop that are typically our A and B vehicles. They'll do a few of the C vehicles, but we'll bring the vehicle in and they use a dismantling sheet that we go through using all the data that we have in the system. And it tells them how many of each, let's say it's, I'm looking at this right now, and I'm looking at the door window regulator on this part. It says that we've had 17 sales. There's been 17 in-stock requests. So we basically have sold one every time somebody's asked. That's a hot part. So we're going to harvest that part and we're going to have that, make sure that's ready, available for the shelf. We might look at another part and say, you know what? We don't sell very many of those. We already got quite a few of them. Let's leave it in the vehicle as a tagged, removed part. So they're going through a process right here of looking at this sheet and deciding what happens with each thing. The first thing we do when we get them in is try to just see what we have. Try to get it running, get our tests done, and then we start going after the item that is either sold or the highest in demand when they start working on it. A little bit of everything getting tore down all the time. I see on the end there's a
03 or 4 Bonneville. He's tearing down right here a 05 Denali Envoy. There's a Cadillac STS that Bob has got. Here's a Jeep Wrangler, a Ram diesel truck behind us, an Uplander van. So you see a little bit of everything. These tables that they dismantle on, we drain the oil and the antifreeze and stuff right into those tables, and we let just basic chemistry separate it, and then the oil all ends up going out a dispenser on that end. We reuse it for heat. The antifreeze goes out a dispenser on this end into a secondary containment, and we resell and reuse the antifreeze. The fuel, they drop the tanks down and they roll them over to a hose that pneumatically transfers it out of the shop. And the fuel is reused by our staff, our trucks, and everything. The refrigerant goes to, we got a couple different places that buy it. Otherwise, we have to pay to have it processed. The tires that we can't sell, we have to pay to get rid of. So we try to look at each part and try to find the best things to do with each part of the car. So they're just starting this one. He's starting to get to the end of this one. So that kind of gives you an idea what happens here. This shop right here is got air conditioning in it too for everybody, so we try to keep it as comfortable as possible. My future vision is that this is probably going to become our shipping and receiving area, and then we'll build a new one of these somewhere else as we tie this all together. We need to get, from what you guys saw, we want to get our hub where all the parts are coming in the middle of shipping and receiving and dismantling. Right now they're all disconnected because of the way the buildings ended up laying out.
Well, the Under the Hood show has been on the air since 1990 in the Sioux Falls market. Over the last 7 or 8 years, we've put some effort into making that bigger than just a Nordstrom show, but making it into a car talk show for everybody to enjoy. And we've done a pretty good job with that. We currently are syndicated on over 100 stations across the United States, from the east to the west to the north to the south. People that pick it up on their own local radio stations. It can be a 1-hour version or a 2-hour version. We make it available however it might happen to be. Myself and Russ Evans, who's the manager of our service center in Garrettson, we do the show. We're the host, along with Chris Carter. He's our co-host, and together we have a lot of fun on the air. We have a lot of laughs, and we give people advice about how to repair their car, the right questions to ask when they're having their car repaired. We want our consumers, we call them hoodies. We call our listeners hoodies, and we want them to understand the best way to be prepared when it comes to fixing their car, even if they don't do it themselves. And we've done that in a fashion now that we have people that are maybe computer technicians that don't know anything about their car that will listen to our show and learn about the car. We'll have housewives that don't know anything about their car that will listen to our show. We have people that are mechanics that tune it in just to see if we're saying the right thing. But all along, we try to make it a fun event that you can tune in. Our slogan is tune in and tune up. We want people to listen to the show for entertainment, and then they're going to learn something along the way. We've got our Facebook page, which is active. We let people email in questions that we'll try our best to answer. And we're trying there again to provide a service to the community through the Under the Hood show. And you can look to underthehoodshow.com, and at that website you can see past shows and listen to them. There's lots of neat news articles that talk about the automotive industry. You can link to our Facebook page where we do the same thing. And so Under the Hood show and the Motor Medics have been there for a lot of years, and we're just going to continue to grow that as another service that we can offer from Nordstrom's Automotive Incorporated.
Pat, he dismantles the cars, mainly gets the fluid out for the U-Pullet cars. He'll do from 30 to 40 cars a week. So this car is next stop. It should have been out of our system 10 years ago, but for some reason it ended up in a dead corner. It's going to be crushed. The crushing operation that we do now is a contractor that comes in that keeps his crusher here. All of our crushed metal ends up at Sioux City Compressed Steel is where it all ends up at. And like I said, that's a small part of our business. That's a byproduct of what we do. But it's an important part like any other piece. Our main job is selling auto parts. The metal we create is a byproduct.
We have a lot of good ideas, but our employees have as many good ideas, and we want to train them in a good way to carry out the tasks, but we also want them to be involved. So we want them to be upbeat people. We want people with energy and personality. we can teach them the automotive recycling industry if they have an interest in car parts. We have people that come out here that have technology interests that we've been able to teach automotive to, and they became very important parts of our team. So just because you're not a gearhead doesn't mean that being part of the Nordstrom's team isn't a possibility. Our team needs inventory specialists. Our team needs production people. Our team needs salespeople. Our team needs all these different talents, and some of it we can teach. Now, there are times that we need that hardcore automotive guy for some of the jobs, but it's not many of them. Most of it we can teach. If you've got an ambition and a will and a good personality and a desire to do things right, we may be a good place for you to bring your talents, and we'd appreciate that.
I just wanted to show you, this original dairy barn was cows milked in it up until 18 years ago, I think it was. It survived the fire in 1971. But now we've got it, actually, we took out the feed bunks, we filled in the manure tract. We used to have the manure gutters that would go in and out. We got rid of all that stuff, and now it's actually set up for storage for automotive interior stuff. It kind of reminds us of our humble roots to where everything started. So I always like to show people at the end of the tour. And yeah, if you're excited about it, great. If not, we'll turn around and I think you'll find that any business that you go learn a little bit more about, there's always more behind the scenes it takes to operate it than you realize. And I hope you enjoyed this, and we appreciate those of you that are customers, maybe future employees, future customers. You'll end up in the industry somewhere, and we want to stay friendly with you and be part of your solutions and be there for a lot of years to come. So,
with our faith at Nordstrom's, you see the P.T. Elliott's on a lot of things. That started with my mom and dad, Art and Marie Nordstrom, making the decision to lead a Christian life in 1973. I was only 3 years old, and it was important. It's been an important part of our lives, because instead of being selfish about what's good for them and thinking only of themselves, being born again Christians leads them to believe that it's important to be kind to other people and to think of other people and to do the right things for people, and that a well-grounded moral compass and the faith that comes from believing in a risen Savior is what's been the impetus as we've grown up. Me as a family member, it gives us such a positive environment to the way we think about things, the way we approach things. Not to say we don't have our bad days that drag us down, everybody does, but we believe that it's going to be better, and it's always going to be better. Whatever happens here, we're going to do the best we can with the talents we have available to make it as good as we can, but at the end there's a greater ending that will be in our best interest. And we choose to believe in faith that that's what's going to happen. That helps us guide the business and some of the challenges and stress that come along with leading this kind of a company.
Yeah, thank you guys.